Tuesday. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. Tuesday. Tonight.
I quit.
You're out?
Yeah.
That fast. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cade. To my right, as always, Mr. Cody Leschker. To his right, Mr. John Mincy. To his right, Mr. Jason Tuttle. We are in episode 5. I'm a little down. We were talking earlier how cool it would be to have the monster truck voiceover. We have a great voiceover guy, Mr. Keith Howe, out of Chico, California, and it's eerie how awesome it fits with what we do. But Cody had to bring up that monster truck guy, and now it's all I can think about. Cigars! Conversation. And
Rehab.
well,
They're on their way.
We kind of
after the podcast ends.
We kind of envisioned the voice going like just hitting a little too close. For alcoholics, denying substance abuse.
Wednesday, you might want to miss it.
Yeah. Thursday. Their wives pack their bags and leave. One-way ticket.
Need to feel better about yourself? Watch the podcast.
Yeah. Podcast. So we'll stop doing that voice now. I'm sorry.
For now, I'm sure it's
coming. For now, it'll come back. I was planning on opening up things on a lively note with my AC/DC voice, but the monster truck voice kind of.
Oh, we'll get to that.
I had an idea because.
Can you do an AC/DC voice?
Oh,
we're gonna have a competition. Later.
No. I'm infamous. I'm glad you're wearing headphones. Your ears will be bleeding.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah, he just clipped everything, and the board just said, fuck it.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
I can't hear anything.
I'm sorry.
Then borrow those headphones.
Well, let's try this again. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cade, and you know the crew here. We are pumped. We're doing the film Maximum Overdrive tonight, and our favorite bartender in the world, Nada, has just made an appearance, and I think we're ready to rock.
We are ready to rock. Rock as hard as this soundtrack.
Rock as hard as Maximum Overdrive soundtrack. Tuttle brought up the idea of doing Maximum Overdrive. We'll get into the other fellas. I hadn't seen it probably since the 80s.
It's been a while for me as well.
With good reason. And we've got a lot to talk about. Last week, just touch on last week a little bit. We finished our epic 4-week sojourn into the world of the Drew Estate Smoking Monks. Ended on a high note with the Hefeweizen.
It was really, really good.
Really good. Really good beer, too. The Karbach Vice Versa. I still can't say it right.
Beautiful.
But we had a really good show last week. And last week's show did exactly what I've kind of envisioned the show doing, which was capture what we do on Tuesday nights when the mics aren't on. Is we talk at something and around something so much that I end up waking up Wednesday and realizing something new about it. Something I thought I knew everything about.
You're going to say I end up waking up Wednesday outside after those first few moments where I wonder why.
Well, a lot of times it is outside, or in my truck, or in a dumpster, or at the YMCA. But enough about that. We talked around Escape from New York and Escape from LA, especially Escape from LA so much that it really changed the way I kind of looked at it. And that's what we do on Tuesdays. We really, multiple opinions, multiple voices going at something. And I love those nights where we kind of smoke and drink our way into something interesting, which wouldn't happen without the smoking or the drinking. So that's what the TNC is all about. So we finished the Smoking Monk series. Also last week, our biggest highlight was, called a highlight, we got to envision Tuttle's face on Adrienne Barbeau's body. Tuttle Barbeau, we call her.
If you haven't checked out the website, check it out because I'm looking good.
If you want to see it, it's on TuesdayNightCigarClub.com, the episode 4 page, and it's disturbing, boys.
I have already copyrighted the term disturbages, combination of disturbing images for a company I'm going to start. So don't anybody out there take that idea away.
Okay.
Looking for a revenue stream.
It was disturbing, and Tuttle's reasoning behind the creation of Tuttle Barbeau was disturbing.
Disturbing, arousing.
Mincy was brought in an
You
interesting
noticed
point.
right after that episode, I got a haircut. I was like, I can't be looking.
I got a haircut just to be safe. But it was a really good show, and I should add that we are adding more and more clips on YouTube, on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I think we've got 18 up from episode 4. Just 2-3 minute highlights to get you into what we're doing, and check out our YouTube channel. I'm convinced if you give a couple clips a whirl, you'll kick it over to iTunes and check out the whole show. So please do. But tonight, no more monks. Sorry to see him go, but happy to do something else. We'll get to the cigar in a minute. First, I wanted to check in with Mincy. Mincy's homework corner. Weather has been really shitty lately. Have you any cigars since the last time you saw us? Or
Yes, but nothing new. It had been a while, much like the movie. I did get an opportunity. The weather had been pretty lousy, but I did get an opportunity to go to Up and Smoke and get a Davidoff. It had been a while since I had one.
Is this your white label, or was this a...
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And wasn't very big. They kind of have multiple sizes, not the normal ones, other than Robusto, Corona, Churchill. They kind of have several other smaller ones. They're not much bigger than like a cigarillo. And the one I had, they're not inexpensive, any of them, but it was really not much bigger than a Fuente. Very smooth. I didn't have it while I was drinking anything.
Your Fuente short story, you had the very small, 4.5 inches.
Yeah, and
Which I know that's what you're used to.
but nobody else who knows me is. So for me, that's a personal record. At one point, I had one the last time, I think, with a Crown and 7-Up, and very smooth. But this goes good just with anything. So because I've had Davidoffs before, it wasn't really too much in the way of homework. But definitely, I kind of put Davidoffs in that area. If you want something good, you're going to have to pay for it. It's definitely an enjoyable cigar, pretty smooth. But now that the weather's gotten much better, hopefully I'll be able to try several more before next time.
Well, good. We'll check back in with you. I'm going to get right into the cigar tonight. We're smoking the Emilio AF1. It is from the House of Emilio umbrella of cigars. It's blended by AJ Fernandez, who's pretty much well-known. He's a very well-known blender, but he blends the Manowar cigars, the Diesel line, which I know Tuttle and I have sampled a lot of the Diesels. They really good smokes, and the San Lotano line. But he does a lot of work for different things, and he blended AF1 obviously for AJ Fernandez, one for House of Emilio. This is our first submitted cigar for review, so it's kind of a milestone for us as far as
That's cool.
Receiving cigars in the mailbox for us knuckleheads to talk around and light them up.
AJ, I'm gonna rip into this.
I should give a little shout out to a close confidant of and he really is a confidant of the Tuesday Night Cigar Club, Rev Java. Rev, really, he's a cigar buddy of ours from up north, the state of New York. He really dug the idea of our podcast and what we were doing, and he put us in touch with Gary Griffith, who runs House of Emilio. He's a big retail guy, owns 30-plus cigar shops in Delaware, Delaware Cigars. Wanted to get into developing his own lines, and Gary was the one who actually sent us some samples, and really excited to do something new on the show. We talked last week a lot about the Jose Blanco seminar we went to, and one of the rappers that really kind of sparked Tuttle's interest was the Mexican San Andreas rapper.
Beautiful.
And we're in luck tonight because this is a well-fermented San Andreas wrapper. Yep. It should be a medium to full-bodied smoke. Usually it's all Nicaraguan filler, and we should be looking at, I would think, based on the wrapper and what I've read, some sweetness and some spiciness and all that good fun stuff.
Yeah, already hitting with the spice right off the light.
Yeah, immediately we all just lit up. Immediately got some spice right off the.
I like it.
Right at the light.
Yeah, well, it wasn't quite as spicy like as the Nika Rusticas that we're running, but it was not that far off. It was just kind of a nice little pop.
It settled
there.
down very quickly,
Yeah.
but I got an initial really big blast.
Yeah.
So, just another real quick shout out. We've been smoking our own stash with the monk, so to speak. This is our first submitted smoke. If you're enjoying the podcast and the website, we do a full write up on every beer, every cigar, every film. If you want us to feature your stuff, please drop us a line on the Twitter podcast. We have an email on the website. We'd love to give your cigars a showcase, and you got 4 very different palettes to give
Not saying we might not like it.
if we don't like it, we don't like it, but we're going to talk it through, and you're going to get 4 different opinions, so it's going to be a good thing. And as of now, we are ranked number 1 on iTunes, the number 1 ranked podcast for film, cigars, and beer reviews. So, that's nothing to shake your head at. It's a good feather in our caps. So, I think we're the only ones. I got to be honest, but we're making strides. I mean, we're 5 episodes in, and things are going really well.
Number 2 was a podcast with some guy who makes Iceman malt liquor, and we beat him out.
Hey, and that guy hustles. I give much respect to him. He's
does
number
hustle.
2,
He
but
does
he does hustle.
Originally, I would just real quick. We were to review tonight. This is a good and not a bad thing, but we're originally going to review the Texian Battle Line Brown Ale tonight, and we're very pumped up about it. And apparently, so were a lot of people at O'Brien's Irish Pub in downtown Temple, Texas, because as the waitress went to fill our pint glasses, the keg floated, and no more Texian Battle Line Brown Ale for us. So we had to readjust. We had to go down to the taps, strategically look at what was available. We got 41 taps down here at O'Brien's. Can't stress enough. We talked about going TJ's in McGregor, TJ's Cigar Lounge. If you are anywhere in the state of Texas traveling, around Austin, around Waco, make the trip to O'Brien's. 41 taps on the wall. And I'm going to turn it over to Cody to let him fill you in on what we chose to replace the Texian, and then we'll get right into the movie.
As you said, we had Texian. Not all the best laid plans and all that. So switching over, we went with the New Belgium 1554 Enlightened Black Ale. Enlightened.
Much like myself.
Well, we'll find out.
Shut up, Lindsay.
New Belgium started in '91. It's one of the older craft breweries.
Like Sierra
in
Nevada, they were one of the early guys.
Yes. In '91, they are located in Fort Collins, Colorado. Most people might know them from their Fat Tire Amber Ale. That's their flagship beer. Everybody knows the little red bicycle. It's a wonderful. That is also a wonderful beer. But the 1554, it's black lager. It's roughly right around 5.5% alcohol, and it's about the black. It comes from a recipe that one of their head brewmasters found himself in Belgium and helped to recreate it.
How does one become a head brewmaster?
By brewing a lot of beer, mastering the brewing of beer.
You're probably too old for that.
Oh, there's work involved then.
It's a young man's game. Brewmastering's a young man's game.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of old guys in it.
You got energy, stamina.
Okay, never mind. Wrong career choice for me.
Yeah, no. You're never going to be a brewmaster. No. I'm never going to be a brewmaster. Young Paul could be a brewmaster.
Young Steven?
He's working on it.
What's up, Steven?
These are not MIA members of the TNCC. They don't join us on the podcast. He's really going to go out there with something new with this one.
They were looking for, a lot of places and breweries have been looking for, not just strong alcohol, or like with the IPA where you get a lot more hops, you get a lot more bitterness. They're looking for a strong flavor, and that's what they were trying to do with the black ale.
When we were looking at the taps downstairs, you told me this lied somewhere between a porter and a brown ale, maybe.
It's a little bit darker than I mean, it can depend. They used for this one.
Porter and a brown
They had
ale.
used lager yeast, but then they had accompanied that with much darker malts, chocolate, black,
Okay.
some pale malts. But it definitely does give it it's very smooth. It's about 21 IBUs.
So no low bitterness.
Low bitterness.
I'll say this: when we were going over beers to possibly jump in on this pairing, Cody's description of it, fitting in with the dark Maduro wrapper that we're doing tonight, that made sense to me. And I'll just be honest with you: the New Belgium Brewing Company, they kind of won out of the 3 or 4 beers we're looking at. Mincy can remember this. Back on graduation day, my first film out of college, we approached a lot of beer companies because there was a lot of beer drinking in our film, and we were looking for sponsorship. And one of the few to respond, and boy did they respond, was New Belgium Brewery.
We were looking for sponsorship and somebody to sustain our alcoholism.
And they did.
And
both
they did both
beautifully.
wondrously.
We had more cases of Fat Tire. What was the other beer? Blue. What's their other one?
We had Negra Modelo on that.
No.
as
That was
well.
the other sponsor. What was their other? It was Fat Tire, and I thought they had a blue something. Or anyway, mainly it was Fat Tire. Cases and cases of Fat Tire delivered. They even gave us one of those Fat Tire bicycles, which we learned because a bar owner who was one of our investors, when he found out we got that, his eyes lit up. He's like, nobody gets the Fat Tire bike. It was an old, like, Pee Wee Herman, huge red bicycle, vintage bicycle. So, we gave it to Randy, and he put it up in his bar. And so they couldn't have been better, when I was kind of starting out as a filmmaker. They really came through. So immediately, let's see how this pairing works. And, I'm excited. First couple sips, guys, how you...
Finally, a dark beer that's not tasting like coffee.
I'm getting chocolate, not coffee.
I think I like the match of it with a cigar, actually. I don't know why.
Okay.
There's something about it. It's a little bit darker than.
I'm getting a dark chocolate off the beer immediately, which I really like. The last porter we had, or the Spinning Mule, was really coffee heavy. And
a lot of people, when they go into the stouts and the porters and they go dark, it's like, oh, we need to make it coffee.
I love coffee, but I'm really digging I'm not picking up any coffee in this, which is nice. And it is going well with the cigar. You guys, just off the first light, Cody, we always go to you when we go to darker cigar because you prefer the lighter stuff. But
this is before I lit up. I mean, I could definitely tell that this had a earthy, leathery aroma going in. So I mean, that's definitely out of my wheelhouse. I don't normally go something
No, you don't.
strong. I'm more to the medium to mild. But even this one is, after lighting it and getting into the first few puffs, it's normally a lot of them. I'll say this: I can tell when it's strong. It's my lips are tingling, and that usually comes from the darker.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because ever since I put that I had an earthy, leathery aroma on my dating profile, I have not had a single email.
hey,
That was you? You're Sally69 from Grapevine?
I will say this, Mincy, I don't think your microphone's working. I can't hear anything you're saying. I will say this with the AF1. The burn line on this sucker is completely, from a construction standpoint, it's a beautiful cigar. The burn line is completely straight. But this is a perfect example of a dark wrapped cigar, a Maduro cigar, that is not full bodied. This is a medium bodied cigar. Yeah. No way, and I think that's what you were getting at. It's not blowing us away with its nicotine and its power at all.
Yeah.
This is a really, so far, the initial spice is mellowed out.
Smoke.
And look at the smoke. It's got Liga-esque smoke.
Yeah.
When the smoke rolls off the foot of the cigar, travels up the body of the cigar, and meets the smoke coming out of the head. That's just a beautiful thing.
Love it.
So, construction-wise right now, taste, off initial light, I think we're all...
I agree.
We're all thumbs up.
I agree.
So, now that we've introduced this so far so good cigar and our surprise beer of the night, we are going to get into Maximum Overdrive 1986.
Yes.
Boy, what a good time period. 86.
Absolutely.
Great time period for horror movies. Great time.
Great time to be alive.
Great time for action movies. Great time for those people downstairs.
Say, man,
A lot of fans
they're
of
lighting it
1986 right here.